Hey, how's it going, VC? Music lovers, space cadets? I hope you're having a great week. Is it me or are record prices going back up? The Flaming Lips released an album this week, or actually it was January 13th. And, I've been keeping a tab on it for the last, since they've announced it, probably, 6 weeks or so? And it's a beautiful package. It's double LP, one purple, one orange, gatefold. But the price point was $40. That's a lot of money. I mean, just for a double album. It doesn't have to be a double album. They just choose for it to be a double album. I know it's a work of art. It's a thing of beauty. But is that what we're paying for now? Is the art and not the music? When I saw that, I was thinking I'm not going to buy it. It's some time and some place we got to put our foot down and say, well, a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, nobody was buying music. They were just begging us to buy music. Everybody was downloading. Now, people are buying records like crazy, and they're taking advantage. We don't get anything extra or special from it. So, on the day that it was released, I thought, well, heck, let me just check Amoeba and see, because I really wanted the album. And I went to amoeba.com, the website, because I don't live in Los Angeles. And they actually had one that they had not been talking about. It was a single black record of their Flaming Lips' new album, Oxymelody. And the price point was fair. It was $19.98. So, but the thing is, if you were doing the pre-orders, you didn't know this thing existed, because I didn't know. I mean, I looked, I was actually disappointed. And then, on top of that, Amoeba had a 15% discount, so I got the thing shipped to my door. Well, it should be here by the time I make my next video, but I got it for about $16 and some change. So it's just becoming a little bit more of a challenge. I just feel like records are going up. You can still find them, you can keep looking, you go to sales, get your coupons or whatever, when Half Price Books has a coupon. Discogs, it seems, is rising a little bit, so I'm not sure if anybody knows why it's rising, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just delusional. But anyway, I did get what I wanted, and it'll be here probably Friday, and by the time I make my next video, I'll have it, and we can review it. But until then, let's talk about some music I've been listening to. The Lumerians. This is a band from Oakland, California. It's called Transmissions from Telos, Volume 3. And I don't think they've got Volume 1 or 2 in their collection anywhere. I kind of looked under their discography, so I'm not really sure what this is. But it is fantastic. It is space rock, it's krautrock, it's, well, I think there's a little bit of post-rock in here as well. It's not just jamming. I mean, there's actual compositions. And I've been looking at this album here for maybe 2 years. I don't know, ever since it's been out. Been wanting to buy it, and I finally found a really good deal on it. And picked it up, and let me tell you, it is fantastic. It's 2 side-long songs. Actually, I'm wrong about that. It seems like it's 2 side-long songs because they merge into each other, but there's 2 songs on each side, and it's all instrumental. So, spacey's all get out. It's fantastic. I totally recommend it. The Lumerians, Transmissions from Telos, Volume 3. And an album, if you've seen my video last week, I was talking about the new Our Solar System album. I had been waiting for it in the mail to get here. They released it right at the end of the year, And it's one of my new favorite bands, one of the bands I discovered by myself, for myself, in 2016. So I got this one, and it is probably better than their other ones. They have 3 other releases, and this one, and one of the releases is cassette only, so hopefully that'll come out on vinyl soon. But Our Solar System, and I can't pronounce what the name of it is because they went strictly Swedish in this one. But it is on the K2 label. Their other releases were on a label called Beyond Beyond is Beyond, which I've talked about quite a few times in here. So, I'm not really sure why they changed labels. It's more of a Swedish label, but I did check out their product, the K2 product, and they got some good stuff. The next one is Trans Am. Their first album came out in 1995. This is it's actually one of the first post-rock albums. I'm not sure if this is too loud for you, but I feel like it is. This is actually one of the first post-rock albums. I don't know which one was or what the first post-rock band was, but it's a great little listen. It's not as dynamic as some of their later ones or some later post-rock albums, but it's strictly instrumental, and they got a bunch of songs on here. There's one song that it's got a locked groove at the end of it, and as you can see, let me see if you can see it, there's times on all the other ones, and on the locked groove one they have an infinity symbol, which is pretty cool because it's like it ends on a drone and it'll just go on and on and on and on. Which reminds me, I guess we have some unfinished business. Back, I don't know, about 14 videos ago, back on, I think my 10th video, I said we were going to have a contest. Now, no one really did it, or joined it, or tried to guess what it was, so we'll just call it over. And it was, I had it way too early. I didn't have enough subscribers. I still don't. But my idea was basically I had an extra album and an extra Radiohead album. I just wanted to get rid of it, give it to somebody. So let me give you the answer. The question was, what did all of my first 10 videos have in common? And what they did have in common, because we're called Locked Grooves, I had this crazy idea that the album that I displayed in the back, you see, because it's in front of my record player, would just be a album with a locked groove. So I found out really quick it was unsustainable if I was going to keep making videos. It was just, I was going to have to go out and buy albums just for the locked groove. So that is the answer. Each album that was displayed in the background had a locked groove on it. I didn't mean for it to be a contest. I meant for it to be something kind of cool to go along with the channel, but it was a little bit insane and did not work out. So I figured on the 10th one I would end it and just give something away. But okay, for the next one we have Mono, Rays of Darkness. This is a Japanese band. I think it came out in 2014 with another album called The Last Dawn. So essentially it was like a double album. This is post-rock. It grows on you. There's certain aspects of it that are good and some that aren't. Side one is pretty standard post-rock. That's nothing special. Then side two starts out really nice and mellow, and then it turns on a dime onto these guttural vocals, like this, like death metal vocals that you just don't expect from an album like this. It goes on for a couple of minutes and then goes off into this staticky drone that lasts, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And I like the staticky drone. I like all the other stuff, but I don't like the guttural vocals. I mean, that's why I kind of stopped listening to metal, because people stopped learning how to sing, it seemed like. You know, the great singers of the 80s, and then you've got, you know, this throat singing. Now, I'm not going to knock it. Maybe you're a throat singer yourself. It just doesn't turn my knobs. Another post-rock album. I guess I was in a post-rock mood this week. Mogwai, Rave Tapes. Fantastic. If you get a chance, listen to it. It's one of the better post-rock albums I've heard. But then again, it's not like I've heard hundreds. Probably heard maybe 15 in my whole life. This is an album that I picked up from Beyond Beyond is Beyond. They are an artist on their label, and it's called Midday Veil is the name of the band, and the album is called This Wilderness. Now, it's a little misleading. It looks, the font and the metallic writing look like it's a throwback to the 80s. I mean, this could be the cover of an 80s metal band, but it's not. It background is all synthesizers and electronics, and up front they've got a female singer who's singing very confidently but very cleanly. You know, it almost doesn't fit the music. I could use a little bit more grit in her voice, but I've listened to the album about 5 times now, just trying to get into it and see what I was missing, and it grows on you. It gets better and better. I don't want to say anything bad, but the singing just sounds like a singer I've heard a million times before. Just doesn't seem like there's anything special. I did look up some live performances, and she does much better in the live performances. Don't get me wrong, she's probably the leader of the band. I mean, she's got a presence. It's just, I just don't dig her voice as much as other female singers. Omadon by Mike Oldfield. I like to dig this one out every so often. It's relaxing. It's fantastic. It's a classic. I don't want to say it's all instrumental because there's lots of choir that goes on in the background. Some, not really chanting, but it's like a choir vocal chorus that just repeats itself, and it's addicting. It's really good. Looks like I need to repair this album cover. But during the course of this week, you know, when I was listening to this, I was kind of on the web. He's coming out with another album called Omadon 2, with a lot of the same players, a lot of the people that had surrounded him during the making of Omadon. So we'll see. It looks really cool. The cover looks really cool. It actually looks like a death metal album. I don't know why. We're just getting into this metal, talking about metal right now. I might check that out. If it's any good, I might get it. And I was listening to this one, Alphonse Mouzon. I had planned on showing this a couple of weeks ago, but I just I didn't get around to it. And a couple other people had showed some of his stuff. He passed away. I think it was either Christmas Day or the day after Christmas. So I wanted to bring out his stuff and just kind of listen to it as a little tribute, as a person who is very important to the jazz scene. He was a jazz drummer. He had 25 solo albums. He was in Weather Report. He played with McCoy Tyner. He was all over the place. I can't even. I should have looked up his discography to see how many albums this guy played on. It's got to be hundreds and hundreds. But we lost a good drummer. He was pretty much drumming up until the end. He got sick. I guess the 11th House with Larry Coryell, he played with them, and I guess they had gotten back together in 2016. They were going on a tour. He had to bow out. And he died a couple of months later. So rest in peace, Alphonse. This is a cool one here. Let me show you the actual album. This is, here's the album cover, and it's Room 237 by William Hudson and Jonathan Snipes. And this is the soundtrack to a movie called Room 237. And what is Room 237 about? It's about Stanley Kubrick's The Shining and all the symbology that is in there and how everybody discovers. See, isn't that really cool? I mean, it's a beautiful album, and it sounds great too. It's an electronic synthwave album. It's just, you know, like a lot of the other ones that I show. It's beautiful. But the movie, I've tried to watch it. It's on Netflix. I've tried to watch it several times, and I can't get into it. It just kind of silly to me. I like The Shining. I'm interested in the symbology of everything that went on, but it just seemed like they were digging for scraps, maybe stuff that wasn't there. But it just could have been my state of mind when I was watching it. Maybe I was tired and perceived it wrong. So you can give it a shot yourself and see what you think. Ose Adonia. This is a project, I think this is 76. What year is this? 78. This is a Richard Penhouse project. I guess he'd gotten off tour with Helden and they were taking a little break. And he got together with a guy, what was his name? Hervé Picard, who's basically a music journalist. And they made this album. They needed a drummer, so they got the drummer from Helden. So, in many aspects, this is a Helden album. Richard Penhouse was not real happy with this, and Helden fans, some are tore about it. I think this is a great electronic album. I think it's one of the best. I mean, it's fantastic. If you let yourself get into the music, it's not Helden-esque, but it's more, I don't want to say really mellow synthesizer music, because it's pretty busy. But if you let yourself get into it, it'll take you places in your mind. And that's what a good electronic or space rock album will do. And I highly recommend this. And last but not least, I did get the Let Out with some Led Zeppelin 3. You know, sometimes you forget how good albums are. They're, you know, from when you're born, they exist. You get into them, you listen to them, you put them on a shelf, and then you just kind of, when you're looking at stuff to listen to, you look at it, and it's like, you know, I've heard that one a million times, but once you turn it on, and the music, the sound, the songs, the Jimmy Page's guitar starts coming out at you, you realize that, you know, you did a good thing by putting it on. Side 2 is my favorite. Got Gallows Pole, Tangerine, That's the Way. That's the Way is a great song. Side 1's good, but side 2 is a little bit more acoustic. This was kind of known as their acoustic album. And the artwork is legendary. Of course, it's got the little pinwheel where you could turn stuff, but Jimmy Page didn't, when they created the artwork, they sent it to Jimmy Page. What was his name? Zacron, I think his name was. He was the creator of this, and Jimmy was cool with it. But later on, like in the 90s, he said it was very teeny bopperish. But when you look at this and all the little pictures, little artwork and things to go along with it, I mean, this guy drew a lot of pictures, painted a lot of pictures. Anyway, I think it's one of the better artwork or album covers from the 70s. Okay, well, that's all I have for today. And we will catch you guys next time. Have a good one.